Hey, NAMI students, welcome back. We're going to go over the hand and the foot today, and maybe the spinal vertebrae, and we'll save the skull for tomorrow, and then we'll be done with notes for this first part. So let's look at the hand on the test. I'm just going to put this hand and this hand on the test. It's the same hand. It's palm down, palm up. So kind of keep that in mind. And I would use, this is just helpful advice. I would use the fingers as my guide. So which bone's under the first finger, which bone's under the thumb, because it doesn't matter which way you rotate the hand, those bones don't shift what finger they're under. So just all helpful advice. Don't worry about these two bones or these two hands in the middle, just this one and this one, okay? So we're going to start out with the easy ones. Let's start out with the yellow ones. These are our fingers. 4 of your fingers have 3 bones. Your thumb only has 2, okay? And we're going to use a term from chapter 1. Distal means furthest from the point of attachment. So all of your fingertips, where your fingernails are at, that's called the distal phalange. All 5 fingers have those. Only 4 of your fingers have the middle phalange. And it'd be nicer on the test because these will all be color coded just like this, so it won't be black and white. And then your thumb does not have a middle, okay? And then the bottom finger joint is called the proximal phalange, closest to the point of attachment. So if you look at your fingers, you can see those 3 bones. We got distal, middle, proximal. Thumb just has distal and proximal, okay? Pretty simple. Toes are the same. So if you know one, you know the other. So that's good news. The toes, we use the same terminology, okay? What I have in green here, those are called metacarpals. That's the bones of your hand, okay? The metacarpals. Now is where the fun begins. So these bones in the wrist, you're going to have to sit down and maybe the next couple days kind of look them over because it's something that just takes a little time and effort to learn them, okay? So I'll start with these ones across the top, okay? So if you look at the one right underneath your first finger, okay, that's called the trapezoid. Be careful with that because there's a trapezium as well and a trick with them. Don't know why they did that, but trapezoid is this brown one right underneath the first finger. Underneath the middle finger is called the capitate, this big red one, both sides, okay? And underneath your pinky finger and your ring finger is called the hamate. So kind of use the fingers as a reference. So going across the top, trapezoid, capitate, hamate, okay? If you go down through the bottom, this is a little trickier, okay? The pisiforms, this little rounded one right here, okay? That's called the pisiform. On top, it sits on top of a bigger bone. You can see it kind of better over here, what's in purple, light purple. That's called the triquitum, okay? Then the lunate is right beside it in brown, the scaphoid in blue, and there's the trapezium. See how crazy that is way out here on the outside, right underneath the little pinky finger, okay? So I know that's confusing. Trapezium, trapezoid are side by side. Try not to get those flipped, all right? So that's going to take a little time. Those wrist bones are a little tricky, a lot of similar names. You're just going to have to sit down and figure out which finger they're under and try not to get the trapezium and trapezoid backwards, okay? Always remember trapezium's on the outside, okay? Zoid's beside it. So zim on the outside, zoid in right next to it, okay? I don't know how you can remember it, but that's kind of the easy way that I've always used. Okay. Hopefully the hand makes sense. Okay, I switched to the foot. Good news is the phalanges are no different. They're exactly the same. Distal's all your toes. Middle is 4 of your toes have a middle phalange. The big toe does not, just like the thumb does not. And all of them have a proximal phalange, okay? Foot's a little easier, not as many bones, okay? Then we got the metatarsals. That's the bones of the foot. We changed this from metacarpals in the hand to metatarsals in the foot. Then we got 3 bones right in a row. Okay, and we number them: cuneiform 1, 2, and 3. They go from outside in. Those are the big bones. You can see them on both sides. Okay. Right beside it is the cuboid, this big bone underneath the little piggy toe. Okay. And then this big bone down here is called the navicular, this little brown one. You can see it better over here. I got both views. Okay. This ugly, I don't know what that is, green color one, that's called the navicular. And the calcaneus is your heel, huge bone in your foot. Same deal. I'm just going to put the 2 foot diagrams on the test. Nothing in the middle, just these 2. Okay. So a little bit easier, not as many bones in the foot. And cuneiforms 1, 2, and 3 is easier than having 3 separate names. So that one's not too bad. So spend a little time studying the hand of the foot because it's going to be a lot of questions on that. All right. 2 more things we'll go over today, and then we'll save the skull for tomorrow, and then we'll be done. Okay. This is pretty simple. The vertebrae in the back, we number them, and you got to put the number, and you will have a matching thing on the test. So it's pretty simple. The first 7, we start with number 1 and we go down through 7. These green ones up here, that's in the upper part of your neck. That's called the cervicals. So cervicals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we start back over with 1. The middle part of your back are called thoracics. There's 12 of those. Okay. I just messed that up. Okay. So there's 12 of those. Maybe I'll turn this off. Okay. Yeah, it might be better. So that's these guys. Okay. That's the thoracics. Okay. And then we have the lumbar. There's 5 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then there's a sacrum, the red one, and a coccyx. Pretty simple. Okay. So just remember, you got to put the number with those, but that'll be on the matching part of your test on Friday. All right. Pretty simple. 7 cervicals, 12 thoracic, and 5 lumbar. Okay. Probably the easiest diagram's the ribs. Not much there. The sternum, don't worry about the parts of the sternum. I know there's on your collar sheet, there's a mambrium and all that stuff. Don't worry about it. That's the sternum, the whole bone I'll point to. Okay. First 7 ribs, what's in green are called the true ribs. And you don't have to worry about numbers on that. Just if I point to any of them, pay true ribs. The last 5 are called the false ribs. Now, here's where the only thing that's confusing with the rib cage is the last 2 are also called floating ribs because they don't attach in the front. They come partway around and stop. They're a false rib. So all these are false ribs. But if I point to one of these last 2, don't put false ribs on the test, put floating. Okay. I know they're a false rib as well, but they're called floating. So pretty simple. Sternum, true ribs, false ribs. Last 2 are called floating. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Not a whole lot else I can say about those other than sit down, try not to do it the day before the test, try not to cram it all in Thursday night. Start looking over some of these things. Hopefully you have as you've done your collar sheets. And we'll go over the skull tomorrow, and we will be ready to take the test on Friday. That's our hope. I'll email you. I'm not going to email you a passcode until Friday because I haven't been through all the notes yet. So I hope you're watching these. If you've got questions, send me an email. Okay. Hey, have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. See ya.